Here are the skills and track record that you need. Okay, you wanted to know, like, right, what are the skills, what are the track record, what do you need to get grab this opportunity. Okay, I'm going to list out 15 important skills and track record that will help you. For example, okay, you want to master creation of a uniform salary structure, policies. What policies? Code of conduct, whistleblower policy, leave in attendance, those are standard. There are interesting new policies: work from home policy, policy on public communications, social media policy, a lot of creative stuff. Okay, there will be anti-sexual harassment policy, which is gender neutral, different from the what the law says, more advanced. Equal opportunity policy, a lot of these policies are options are available. Uniform salary structure and policies for pan India organizations, India based startups with international operations and multi country presence, so Indian MNCs, okay, even foreign MNCs in India. Okay, handle payroll compliance related troubleshooting, not payroll and compliance filing alone, the more hardest troubleshooting problems. Learn statutory compliances in tricky situations. For example, where contractors and contract workers are involved. This is the biggest problem for companies. Contractors not fulfilling their obligations, and companies paying them, but later faces lots of inspections and notices from authorities, and contractor disappears from the situation. Angry contract workers who don't who are mistreated by their contractor, what do? They go to your company and they say that I am your employee and I need my benefit, and the contractor didn't pay me. Okay, so I need the benefit from you directly because I've been coming to your office. Simple things like that, and it's very difficult if you are untrained to handle these kind of situations. The bigger the company, the bigger this problem. Agreed? If you have 100 people, maybe one person will say this. If you have 5,000 people, there may be 20 such cases. And if you are CHRO of a 5,000 people company, then what you will do? You will make, you would have known this skill, and you will start making an SOP, standard operating procedure, for the HR managers to follow. Correct? So everybody will learn from the best practices that you create for your company. Make sense? Okay, what is the next one? Develop clear understanding and transition mechanism to shift to new labor codes. Right? This is the upcoming thing. People are struggling to identify what are the precise changes that you need to do, that you need to deal with to shift to the new labor code. Develop a clear understanding to transition to the four labor codes with the draft rules, all of that. And life's going to get a little better when the labor codes are notified. But until the full transition happens, that will easily take a year. Until that happens, you are basically grappling with more than before, because you have all the statutes that were there before: 44 central, 100 plus state laws, and four new labor codes, which is very problematic situation. Okay, but once the transition is complete, life will be a lot simpler. There will be more parity between state and central laws also. Learn how to draft employment contracts, appointment letters, manpower supply contracts with contractors, various kinds of employment policies based on the organization's needs. No two organizations need to have the same employee code of conduct. Okay, some organizations will have two mechanisms: one set of policies for work from home, one set of policies for people coming to office. Some organizations will have combined policy. Some organizations will have unique policies for people working in a customer facing, like a bank or a shop, a customer facing scenario. These policies sometimes interact with your shops and establishments act, so you cannot fall foul of that. So you have to learn those things properly, right? Optimize policies on data protection. So these are the cutting edge issues. Okay, data protection, HR managers haven't worked on till date. Anyone here who has tried to go outside the comfort zone and try to work on this, if you've done that, you'll realize that this is a gold mine. It's literally a gold mine. Any Indian company, so India is going to get its data protection law soon. It's not passed yet. Same situation like code on wages. Going to be passed. It's in draft form, but Europe has it. And Indian companies, Indian startups serve European clients. Okay. And even in Europe, where the data protection law is there. They are saying that we don't have enough people who can implement data protection. We don't have enough budget also to hire people in this. It would be great if an HR manager or a lawyer could do that. Okay, so data protection is tremendously important. Anti bribery work, by for example, is very similar across the world. It doesn't matter, the law may be slightly different, but what bribery is, what you can do, what you cannot do, it's very simply understandable. If you understand the subject, you can use and implement a policy for an MNC or for an Indian company, for a UK company, for a US company, all of that. You can create work from home policies, social media, public communications policies to protect the company from reputational damage. Reputational damage is quantifiable into money. To help them against business losses and fines, you must learn how to conduct disciplinary proceedings effectively. In many cases of non performance, you try to obtain a resignation letter from an employee, and an employee may not want to give that. What do you do then? If you terminate the employee for convenience, you understand what I'm saying? If you give a notice of termination for convenience and the employee says that, no, this is actually they're dismissing me for non performance, it can be challenged before courts. Do you understand? This is how strict this is. Okay, so you need to learn how to conduct disciplinary proceedings effectively. A lot of HR managers avoid going through this route, and what happens then is you're tolerating ineffectiveness, non-performance in the company becomes a place for non-productive employees to stay. The high performers also become non-productive, and you can't exactly measure every time. It is not visible to you, but this is what happens, and one day you see that the culture of the company is destroyed. Now, what if you, as an HR manager, could play a lead role with the CEO and the COO and the CFO in ensuring that people are at the top of their game? See, the CEO's skill set will be very different, and your skill set as an HR manager will be very different. The CEO will lead with the vision and the execution. You will lead with your tools, the policies, the disciplinary proceedings, okay, the enforcement, the trainings, right? You're going to do yours, you're going to use your skills to ensure productivity. Learn how to work with trade unions. Biggest problem, okay, in any manufacturing setup. Multiple unions are there. Whom to negotiate with? Whom to recognize? Unions going to go on strike. What kind of settlement agreement to have? How to deal with the proceeding before the labor commissioner when there is a conciliation? How many of you have heard of these terms? Some of you are there from the manufacturing sector, so you all might have faced this situation. How long should a settlement agreement be? Should you do bipartite or should you do tripartite? What is preferable and when? Right? All these become problems. When should you take this to court? Okay. What do you do when a union starts objecting to a dismissal? All these become problems that are worth dealing with. Learn POSH Act implementation organization wide. This alone has a very high value for any organization. For a big organization, small organizations may have a one type of POSH implementation, but when a company goes from 100 to 5,000, POSH diversity is very complex. You have POSH for salesmen, you have POSH for contract workers, you have POSH for consultants, you have POSH for employees in factory, you have POSH for employees in retail stores, you have POSH for uh, your ICCs, you have POSH for senior management. You may have variety of policies. Universities have different policies under UGC Act, and non-universities have different policies. Okay, all these questions arise. Okay, this is just POSH basic implementation. How do you do the inquiry process? Okay, how is that done? Inquiry and decision making is the big problem. For a long time, organizations started complying with POSH, but then it was like when a complaint is filed, then there was panic. So because they didn't know how to handle complaints, what did they get into? Suppression of complaint, right? No complaint is there, no problem. Why? Because nobody was encouraged to file complaint. Then what happened? Me Too happened, right? Then suddenly what happens is that people are very upset and things get leaked out in the media, and then you realize there's no complaint in the organization, but there are like string of people saying that here, hello, there's sexual harassment happening here, it's rampant, and the organization does nothing, and that kills the company, right? That is the whole problem. Okay, so what else can you implement? Inspection preparedness program. The biggest challenge for companies is raids and inspections by labor authorities. They get tipped off They get tipped off or informed by angry employees, trade union leaders, contractors, employees. Half the times you won't even know the person because you were sent by a contractor, but he went to the labor office and filed some complaint, and now they have come to inspect. Sometimes there are surprise inspections, okay, and they find all these things that are missing, or they send you a letter and then they say, send me a compliance report, okay. You have to deal with that. Sometimes they don't accept your compliance report and they initiate proceedings. You have to go to court. If you're on leave, okay, or planning to go on leave, and you suddenly have a surprise inspection, what's going to happen? Organization won't be prepared. If somebody in your team in a different office used to handle it and they've left the company and there's an inspection, what's going to happen? You may not know how to handle the inspection. So you need to have an inspection preparedness program with adequate training for everybody. You need to have a substitute, a successor who can deal with this, an alternative apart from yourself. You need to learn how to respond and draft responses to statutory notices from various labor authorities effectively, right? Labor commissioners, labor inspectors, PF commissioners, ESI related notices. Lots of these notices are there. How to represent the company? Suppose sometimes you're called before a hearing before the labor commissioner. What are you supposed to say? If it's a gratuity matter, what should you say? If it's an industrial dispute, what should you say? When matters go to court, how should you brief the lawyers? How to work effectively with them? How to oversee their work? Lawyer says, no, this argument we can't take. This goes against us. How can you check that? How can you verify that what you're saying is the right thing or not? Can you read the case law and explain to them that no, not this, it's going to be, this is our stance and here's what we need to argue?